every school should have a reporting system in place in their building. And what they do with that is that they keep track of the reports that they get, as well as they follow up on every report that is put into place. You know, and not every situation will be deemed a bully situation, but that doesn't mean that nothing is done about that report that's made or the behavior that has occurred. There's always some kind of intervention that is done or a follow-up. And those can be very creative in the schools. From, let's say we're looking at something happening in a hallway. What we can do is we can modify the student's passage through that hallway to ensure that it doesn't happen again. The opportunity isn't available to them. So there are creative things such as that can be a real minor tweak that we do to something more severe where there's an office referral. Referral is made that this is a report, as well as we need to take a disciplinary action because of this event or action that has been taken place. Some other things that we have in place that I think are very valuable is we're always looking at the intervention as well as the responding to something that's inappropriate that happens in a disciplinary manner. So the interventions always kind of fall within the parameters of training our teachers the way we have, and our counselors. Our counselors play a huge role in our schools to talk to kids and help empower them, as we've been talking about, to be bully-proof, and how they can really learn how to handle behaviors like this, because eventually in a very short time they are going to be out in the real world. And the school setting is a microscopic world of what usually is out there. So if we can teach them how to be people in that world, treating others well, as well as how to handle it when somebody doesn't treat you right, then that is really a job we want to have done. And I think parents want us to do that as well. Whenever we look at a situation where a child has been treated improperly in any way by another child or by an adult in any kind of situation, it's very important that we partner not only with our parents and our teachers, but with the community as a whole, that we don't see bullying as an acceptable thing, that's something that we should just live with. It should be reported, as well as we all want to take a look at every one of our actions does make an impact within any situation. And so we need to all reflect on our behaviors to say, is this helping the situation? Is this helping us come to a resolution and teaching our children how to be people? Or is it stalling that process, or actually even putting a hurdle in place of that process? And sometimes people can unintentionally put a hurdle in front of something that we're trying to do to help out. And what I see some of those hurdles being oftentimes in my position is that there's a real need for some kind of a justice, or to be understood that there's a justice that's been served. And I know that the passion is there for people and they want it to stop as much as we do. But I think it's really important to remember these are all children and that we're teaching them. And even though we'll have a consequence, that everybody does have equal rights also to make mistakes, to learn from them and grow and to go on. And we will take every situation very seriously, as I've said, but I think it's very important for people to look at all sides of the angle, and that is how do we empower the schools and how can I help with that, as well as we will continue to train our teachers as well as our counselors and our students in attending to those things, but also for the public to not accept bullying as a good thing, and then to take their steps to help us in that process in a very productive way. I think it's really important even during times like this, and it can be a very difficult spot for a parent to be in if they're in a position where they see some cruelty happening and their child's there, and especially sometimes their child wants the parent to be in the background and not make them look bad. It's still important to be that parent and to intervene and to demonstrate how to do it for your child, I think is important. And you can do it in a respectful manner just by identifying to the student, boy, that sounded really hurtful, or wow, that must not have felt good. You know what I mean? Just kind of identify what that process is. Not to call them out on it, but also then to say, let's do this instead. Provide some kind of an alternative and then kind of help them out with that piece. Because you're interrupting that behavior while you're also teaching them how to intervene and then how to move on from there in a respectful way. Actually, everyone in your community needs to be involved. In the school community, that is our school bus drivers, that is our secretaries, our education assistants, our custodians, anyone that has interaction or is public with kids, we train them on what to look for as well as how to intervene and how to make that report if they're not sure. The other piece is grandparents, parents, people that maybe don't have kids but have been in school, and they can identify poor behavior when they see it. And it can be anything from just seeing a bad behavior and just finding out what's going on. I know as a parent myself, I've had opportunity where I might be picking up my children from someplace and I see an altercation going, and just physically approaching it and saying, hey, what's going on? I can figure out pretty quickly if it's something that's more of a friendly bantering between two people or something that they really need to separate from. Just that intervention is huge, especially if there are other people around who wonder what to do too. Normally they'll join in and help out. And again, there's that power in numbers where if more people stand up and say, hey, what's going on? It takes that power away from the individual that might be abusing their power towards someone else.